Welcome to Diski Talk. This is Mido from Mido Sport. I'm not alone. Next to me, I'm with Tasia. Welcome, Puti.
Inkosi Puti njani?
Siyaphila Puti akhondo man. Puti, can you tell us? Can you brief us with your intro, please?
Okay. My name is Siyabonga Nene. Club level, chairman of the City Swallows, club as Mfuleni enkulu. And on the LFA side, secretary of the LFA. Yeah.
Oh, thank you, Puti. Thank you for your intro. Sir, I invited you for us to discuss Mfuleni sport crisis. Can you tell us your knowledge about what's happening in Mfuleni?
At the moment, I think we have 2 seasons. I think it's the 3rd season this year without playing. Because the last time we played in 2022, we played in Blue Downs. Then 2021, we last played in Mfuleni in 2021. Then 2022, we played in Blue Downs. 23, 24, we didn't play. And then this year, we haven't started the league yet. And I think we might not play it. I'm not saying we're not going to play it because that's supposed to be, it's going to be, this is in A clubs because we're having a meeting in the clubs. And next week, we're supposed to have a meeting last week. So regarding what is happening at the moment with the facility and stuff like that and the way forward. But since the 3 singadlali ibhola Mfuleni so far. So and it's a challenge obviously because some clubs lose players. Some players are involved in the wrong things with crimes and other stuff because obviously they don't have anything to do. Yeah, so it's a very dire situation for abantwana baseMfuleni because they're supposed to be active for them to like sine history Mfuleni of producing good players. Then, for example, at the moment we have players who PSL at Chipa, we have Kaya Mfetsane, at Marumo, we have Umateki, NFD, we're about 4 or 5 players straight from the LFS Mfuleni. 2 from Hungary, Vondo no Dabuka, with recently joined Milford, Ula, Batata, one player from Swallows. He was actually he's on loan from Golden Arrows. Then he's going to be playing Milford this season on loan. So we had a couple of good players in PSL and in NFD, and also in the 3rd division as well. So Italian Econ Mfuleni. But we need to find a solution to go back and play football in Mfuleni because abantwana nyani bayaphela with into kungabi na football in Mfuleni.
Okay, so as a Greater Mfuleni LFA management structure, what are actions you took to make sure sport in Mfuleni is coming back?
Oh, we actually have been involved. We created a structure that is going to work with the city to make sure that facilities are being rebuilt. As you can see now, Mfuleni, TEF is done, Izbani is done, so fencing is done. Also, those were initiative from the executive of Greater Mfuleni LFA. So we took the guy, for example, the deputy secretary, Yongama. We assign him to that committee because we need some people that's going to be in both sides. So, and also what was also an MFC and an LFA, we send them to that committee so that they can be giving the instruction of what we want as clubs. Because initially, what City wanted, they wanted to build a lane without fencing first. Their phase 1 was to build a lane, but we had a history of evangelism, into itef ithathwe igcwale ezilokishini. So we said, no, you cannot do that. We thought that they must first build fencing, and if fencing we want the walls like they wanted to see now. And we went back and forth with Aiv Melegana up until we won that battle, that we must have a wall because abantu abangaphandle mustn't see what's happening in Ireland. So we won that battle. So the city built the phase 1 indoor fencing, and then phase 2 was the AstroTurf nezbanza corner, and then phase 3 was gonna be your parking, your clubhouse, your toilets and other stuff in there. And then there's phase 4, that's gonna be other fields there at the bottom. So at the moment, phase 1, phase 2 is done. So we're engaging the city now that we want to use the facility, even though the other phases are not done. Because remember, these phases, each and every financial year that is from 1st of July up until 30 April, that's the financial year of City of Cape Town. So they will get money, or they will go and ask for money to do that particular phase. So now we said, look, turf is fine, is sorted out, is sorted out. Then if we wait for this current financial year, they're going to go and ask for money, and we don't know how much of money they will receive. So, for example, if they say this year they're only getting money to construct the parking and the clubhouse and other stuff, so that means the other phase of the other fields is not done. So we might wait for another year or 2 years for the whole completion of the stadium. So it can take us to 2030 before we even play a Mfuleni. So I said, no, look, we can't wait for that. So now you're done with phase 1. Let's sit down and find a solution. How can we utilize what you have? Then if for example, they want to start working on certain parts, then we stop at a particular time. Then we source where we can finish the league. For example, if they say, okay, we got the money, we're gonna build toilets, we're gonna build change rooms and other stuff. We're gonna start in April, or we're gonna start February next year. So the idea was that, okay, from now up until February, we utilize the fields. Then the remainder of the games, if maybe we are 5 games left, we see maybe we can ask Blue Downs or Glenfield or other facilities that can finish the leagues in there and there. So that's where we are with the city, because we want to. Also, we don't want a situation where fields is being built and then we don't utilize it. It's being vandalized before it's being even used. So at least if there's visibility on the fields of play, even those who think about doing wrong stuff, it's not easy if they see the visibility in the field, on the field of play. So we're busy engaging with the city on those particular agenda at the moment.
Okay, Budi. Do you see how much damage caused by the absence of sport in our community?
Oh, it's huge, especially for me, who not necessarily on the leadership of the LFA, but also as a club that I'm actively involved with. So we saw those damages because in the past few years we had guys who died from our teams, who were stabbed, were being involved in those things that is happening in the township because of there's no activity in terms of football. So we had, like, recently, I think last month we buried another guy that was playing for our under 14, was stabbed. So in other teams as well, there's other guys who also had a similar situation where they will be stabbed, because there's this fight between the areas, because now there's no football activity. So these young ones, they are involved in wrongdoing. So it's really, really bad. If we beside number one, we had issue number one where some of our clubs are losing players, of which it's a less problem, but it's a problem, but it's a less problem than this one of them losing their lives and then being involved in wrong things. I think if we don't deal with that, we might see Mfula becoming a danger zone where it's difficult to walk Mfuleni, because we obviously, I know from from Kumi in Sakula, when we grow up, we used to play almost every week. Every week we were playing, every week. So I remember there was 2 weeks where we were off not playing. So I see when we have a lot of time, we use, particularly for us, we did izinto ezi minor, but when you think about it, because obviously it was a long time ago, we'll go and then it's still April orange in abantu. But you can think now, at that time it was orange, but what is happening currently, the situation is different this now. So if they have a lot of times time in their hands, then they'll do wrong stuff, and then we will see Mfula Ricardo as dangerous. It all starts from Abandon having a lot of time in their hands. So it's very, very difficult. So we need to deal with this issue as soon as possible.
Okay, Butiman, when do you think sport will come back in Mfuleni?
I cannot give you an exact time. It might be this year. It might be next year. As I'm saying, we were supposed to have a meeting last week. Actually, they were supposed to hold the meeting, but technically it's because they were doing the online meeting. And I was out of the province that time, so they struggled, the guys that were there. So because of the admin situation, because they were using the WhatsApp call and stuff like that, and I was really out. I was not available to. So they postponed the meeting. We're going to have a meeting next week. That meeting where the clubs then will take a decision, because each and everything that is happening, the clubs take this decision. So we give them the report. This is what we are in terms of engaging with the city. So this is where we are in terms of facility. So because the one thing that they sent us to talk with the city is that, look, ETF is available. ISBAN is done. They were tested, I think, 2 weeks ago, and then they are working. Even though at that time they were using a generator to test it because
no electricity.
Yeah, so the guys because they were stolen. So, but there was they promised that the guys from the electricity, they're gonna come, ESCOM, they're gonna come and then deal with that issue. So it's gonna be sorted out. So the request was that, okay, we engage the municipality. Look, at the moment, can we be able at least to get those moving toilets, at least those mobile, so that we can be able to utilize the fields. Then because obviously water is not an issue, because each and every field there's those stations for water. They can just open one of the stations in there for us to get water from there. So it's not a big issue, but the biggest issue was the issue of the toilets, the moving toilets, because that's the biggest issue. Then if you can if the city agrees on those things, and then we will be able to then to utilize the fields. And the other issue that we said to them with the fields was that the guy that was in charge of the project Mfuleni has been removed. So there's a new guy coming in. So now the new guy, when he comes into the office, he has to say, okay, this is an amount I have for this financial year. So this is what I'm going to do, A, B, C, D. Then we'll know when is it starting. Well, first of all, does he have money for this financial year or not? That's number one. If he has money, how much of money, what is he going to be doing? So if then it's something is going to start in February, then we can start from now up until January, then we finish the other stuff in there. So that was engagement. So, particularly in just a got briefing, because I was not in that last meeting, with the officials, but I got a big briefing that, actually the guy that was actually in charge of the project that was moving is no longer moving. It's gonna stay for now. So that means you will know exactly what is happening. So it's gonna be easy now. The transition is gonna be easy, because now the new guy has to first to know what is happening and then be updated and all. So it's gonna be a long process, but at least now this guy is gonna stay. Then it's gonna be easy to say, okay, how much do you have? And if you have this amount of money, when are you gonna be starting this project? If you don't have money, then can we play from now up until July, August, September? Obviously, financial year of municipal started on the 1st of July, but they can only receive the money maybe late August, because it's starting on July. They will apply for funds, and then it will take time for them to actually receive funds. So if then they don't have money for the next financial year, then we can engage that we can pay the whole season next year. Then if they get the money next year, then we stop when they do whatever they're doing. So that's where we are at the moment. So it can be this year, it can be next year.
Okay. The guy who continuing with this project is the one who's going to hold a meeting with.
No, actually, the meeting that we will hold, there's a person that is responsible from the city side, and then our councillor that is in this ward where the fields are. Then they sat with the other guy that was the new guy, the councillor and the PR. They sat with that person. So we're supposed to have a meeting with them, but unfortunately, we're told that guy that was the original guy is no longer moving for now. So obviously it's going to be easy now to get information because he knows everything about the project. So how much of money, if he gets this, how much of money, when it's going to start, and what is he going to be doing, it's going to be easy for him than the new guy who's going to still familiarize himself about what's happening. So then we'll know exactly now, probably because in that last meeting I was not there, but I'll get the briefing before the next meeting that we have next week. But I know that one big thing from that meeting was that guy is no longer moving, so of it is a good thing. So then it will be either this year or next year, depending on the final agreement with the city as well in terms of using as a facility. Because for them, the initial thing for city was that they will only hand over the facility when all the phases are done. But we said, no, it's impossible. It might be 2030. So we can't wait for that.
No,
it's impossible. We can't wait for that.
Impossible. Okay, Budi. Yeah, I hear you now. So most there is a lot of divisions who supposed to play.
Yes.
From age of maybe 10 up to senior teams.
Yes.
So how do you think maybe the field can accommodate all those games?
Look, we engaged. Actually, with the structure that we was elected by the General Council to go and then engage with the schools.
Okay.
For example, Manzomtom is a field, Skitsa is a field that I know of. That actually we currently using them because we have the tournament from Africa Tikkun where almost all of our team are involved in there. So they utilize sometimes Manzomtom, they utilize Skitsa, they utilize Africa Tikkun. So then we looking also in terms of engaging those schools and those facilities. Okay, guys, can we use some of our games in your facilities so that we minimize the overusage of the facility? And also if then there's light, because the fields needs to get some rest. So, we can play midweek, 1 game, 2 games, so that we don't play 7, 8 games over the weekend. Then we stretch the games during the week. We say, okay, Monday you play 1 game or 2 games, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. At least there's a rest on the fields. So there's that requirement that the field mustn't be overutilized. So those are issues that we have to look at. Other facilities and also using the AstroTurf sparingly. We only use it all the games on weekends. Then we try and minimize. Yeah.
Okay. What you can promise our community about the sport?
Look, at Mfuleni, the record speaks for itself. The talent. So I'm the person who always go out in all of these LFAs and all of these events. When I go there, it's like you see when you go to Europe, you go to big teams in Europe. For like in each and every big teams, you'll see an African guy. We are like that when it comes to Mfuleni. When you go out there, in each and every those big teams, you'll see this guy's coming from this guy's coming from Mfuleni.
Yes.
So we are like that. So if then we are back and playing, it's gonna be we will see a good quality of football at Mfuleni, and I have no doubt about that. For example, currently, Coke Cup, with Swallows coming from the same LFA, they never played a competitive football since 2022. They played beating teams 9-0 from that are playing current football, like they really playing football. So they only lost last week, last 32 of Coke Cup, and even that game, it was just a mistake from, you can see that match fitness is not there. So, but from 254 teams to last 32, if you're not playing football, you're not supposed even to reach hundreds in something, yes. But you reached last 32. And even in that game, you're not outplayed. You were outplaying the team, but you only used them. We saw the mistakes. And okay, you can understand not playing competitive. That those mistakes happen. So then it shows that there's a talent. Imagine if then they are playing competitive football every week, then it's going to be a different case. So what I can promise to them, we'll try by all means push that we have football back. But what I can say, sometimes we said also to the clubs that look, we are in August now, so it's September. SAFA needs number one at the end of September, I think second week of October. So it might be practically impossible to play for a league, to compete for playoffs and stuff. So, but we can play to prepare for next year. Or we can start our season this year, because remember at SAFA we have 2-year season EMA card, so like 20, 25 to 26 cards. So these cards, our cards for this year and next year, are still valid. So you can start the season late this year and finish early next year. We can do that, or this year we only play to prepare for next year. So that's what we were looking, but we discussed with the team, so they're the one who's going to come with the final decision on that.
Okay. Yeah. Any suggestion from the team's administration? As I can see, the start it's approaching. We don't know when, but it's near. So what advice you can advise our local teams?
Look, the biggest thing is I think most of our clubs, they're struggling with the number of players that they lost. Number one is either they start now, because there are teams. Mfula is growing each and every day. There are new people who are staying in different areas. They come and build their own teams. There's a lot of teams that are not under LFA and stuff like that. They can start engaging with those teams if they can just amalgamate with them, and then they can see. For example, for me, when I came to Swallows, I came in Cape Town 2007, because I have a background of professional football. So I had that thing of passion for football. So I created my own team, but I started with juniors because I had so much heart for the juniors. So our juniors was beating almost everyone. So it was that time when No Name was still new. They were still actually. It's funny. I was talking to one other guy. I was actually, I would say I was involved in helping the No Name to register, because at that time they break from Mfuleni United. They were senior guys only. They had no juniors. And at that time, I had a lot of juniors because my junior teams were strong. So I gave them some of the guys to because they wanted to register the league. So, and also for me, when league started, we started losing games because everyone was playing league. Then I was approached by Swallows. In fact, there's more people approached me before Swallows, but I was not happy with those ones. So when Swallows came, said to me, "Look, we don't have juniors. You're gonna come in here, then you're gonna coach your juniors. We're gonna give you full control of your juniors. We only have seniors, and then we're struggling in here." And then the guy that was actually good in juniors was Tari. So Tari was busy actually with work. So then I that's how I joined. So I will advise them that, okay, they can also look in terms of those teams that are not in the league, and then they can just try and put them together, and then try and build the teams, because at the end of the day, for you to be a club in the league, you must have at least 4 divisions. So that's your seniors, that's your junior divisions. So because that's the rules from SAFA that you must have a number of players registered on your team. So when we equate it, it's about four divisions. So obviously, if you have one division, you still need more divisions for you to become a club. So they can go out in those clubs and try and see whether they can get players from them as early as now, because it will help them. So that when we start the league, they don't find themselves out, because if you're not a proper club, then it's going to be difficult for you to play, because some of them, they never played since 2022. They don't even know whether they still have players or not. So they need to start now and then going back and start and train. And then if they see that they don't have players, they must go and find players from other teams that are not in the league and see what they can do.
Okay, Muti. Your last words for today?
Look, my last words was like, players and sport-loving people, they must have hope, because we are pushing so hard that we can see football Mfuleni. Especially the last time when we played here, there's old guys that used to come to the field. They never missed a day. So I was so painful the other day. I think it was 2024. I met one of the old guys and said, you are killing us. We don't know what to do now, because we know every weekend we come.
More special those seniors, because faces.
Yeah.
You always see on the field.
Yes. So we are pushing so that we bring football back in Mfuleni, because there's a lot of talent in Mfuleni.
Okay, sir. For today, we are done. What I want to say, I want to thank you for availing yourself for today's podcast. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.